Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do another book tag, which is the Olympic book tag. This tag was created over on the blog It Reads at Midnight, and I will link the original blog post down below. I am very well aware the Olympics have ended on the 21st of August, but I thought I would like to do this tag, and it is now or never. Opening Ceremony, a book you loved from the first page. And I went with the fourth book in the summer series, Forever Summer by C.J. Duggan. I love this book because it was the last book in the series. It was the couple I wanted to see the most after all of these books and novellas. I wasn't disappointed. I read the first book and I fell in love because I saw all of the characters I fell in love with in the first couple of books. I got to see the characters I wanted together the most, falling in love and finally becoming a couple, and it was so great. Cycling, favorite road trip book. I went with the second book in the Fire and Thorns trilogy, The Crown of Embers by Carson. This is obviously not really a road trip book, but the main character Elisa does travel a lot in this book. She also did in the first book. She travels through the desert, and I honestly love when they travel because so much happens, so action-packed. Triathlon, a book with a good love triangle. I thought I would include the Hunger Games in this, but I thought that is not a very original answer now, is it? So I went with The Sky is Everywhere by Jenny Nelson. This is not really a love triangle, but it also is because you know who the main character is really in love with, but she is also with the other person because she has the grief over her dead sister, and this other person shares this grief with her and understands how she feels, and the guy she's really in love with doesn't, so she kind of seeks this relief and this support from the other guy. Handball, a book you didn't really get. And I went with a book I recently finished. That is Before My Eyes by Caroline Bock. This book is about three main characters. One of them has a mother who has had a stroke and she now has to care for a 6-year-old sister. Then the other character who is a son of a state senator and his parents are almost never home. And a third character who suffers from schizophrenia, but nobody knows this. And they all know each other. But the point of this book, I didn't get it. There was not really a plot. I didn't get why two of the main characters were even in this book because they didn't really add anything to the story at all. Beach Volleyball, a book set in the summer. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. This book always takes place during the summer. Every book in this trilogy is set during a different summer, and especially the first book was my favorite in this series because something happened and it was really sad, but I loved this first book. It was the first book I read by Jenny Han, I think, the first trilogy, and I really liked her writing in this. I liked how the main character Belly grew up throughout the books, but I wasn't a fan of Conrad, who Belly was in love with, and is one of the guys who spends the summer at the summer house. But I like Jeremiah, who is Conrad's brother, a lot more, but we can't have everything, can we? Fencing, a book with a lot of fighting / bloodshed. The Young Elite by Marie Lu. I've only read the first book, but a lot happened in this. There was a lot of fighting because obviously they're kind of rebelling. They're an underground group. The main character is a very dark character, so obviously there's a lot of fighting, and I have high hopes for the second book, The Rose Society, and a lot more fighting in that. Gymnastics, a book with a lot of plot twists. Illuminae by Amie, Kaufman and Kristoff. This is honestly one of the only books I didn't see the plot twists coming. Like, something happened in this book and I was like, oh my god, what happened? And I didn't think it through, and then another plot twist happened and I was like, wait, now I have to turn back through all of these pages and see where it all went wrong. And I honestly, it surprised me, it shocked me, everything. I enjoyed everything in this book so much. The plot twists were just surprising to me, and that doesn't happen to me very often. Swimming, a book that made you sob. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Again, I could have mentioned this for the plot twist, but there is one plot twist and not many plot twists in this. But this book made me cry so much, especially because I didn't see the plot twist in this book coming at all, and it devastated me. Golf, a slow-paced book. And I immediately thought of Benjamin Alire Sáenz, who's one of my favorite authors. His books are always very slow-paced, very character-driven, and I thought I wouldn't go with Aristotle and Dante for once. I went with last night, I Sang to the Monster. This is a book about a guy who gets into rehab, and it's him. He has kind of amnesia, he doesn't remember what happened to him. Throughout the book, he's in rehab, meets other characters, and remembers slowly what did happen to him. And again, it is very character driven. Trampoline, a childhood favorite, and I had to mention Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. I read this when I was 13, 14, and it made me fall in love with reading again. I read a lot when I was younger, but then I just stopped, and when I read Twilight, I was like, this is what I need. I read the whole series after that, and I fell in love with reading again. Then I went into high school, and most of high school I didn't read a lot except for classes, but after high school I fell into reading again, but I have very fond memories of Twilight. Equestrian, a book featuring animals. Kiss an Angel by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. It's been a long time since I've read this book, and I don't remember much about it, except that it took place in a circus with circus animals. Hurdles, a book you struggled to finish. The Ballroom by Batana Hope. Again, a recent read. This historical fiction, but it was written in a way I didn't particularly like. It was very slow paced for me. It followed 3 characters, and 2 of the characters were having a love story, and the 3rd character was a doctor. He was very disturbing, especially the viewpoint of the doctor, and there were some things I didn't exactly get, and sometimes it just felt boring to me. Synchronized Swimming, a book with a great friendship. The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Ness, and I don't remember the names of one of the characters, but Mikey is really the main character, and his friendship with his best friend, because Mikey suffers from OCD, and there are also LGBTQ plus elements in this book. And it was so sweet to see how his best friend could really help him with his OCD and knew about it. And the first time we encounter an episode he has, I was like, wow, this is really hard hitting. There was a bonus question in this book tag, but I don't have any books that feature Olympic sports, so I thought I would leave that out. But this is the Olympics book tag. The sun is coming out. I'm done right on time. Let me know down below what your answers would be to this tag. If you want to do this tag, please do. I would love to see it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.